Hello everyone, welcome to History Forge. My name is Taylor Hamlin. Going to be focusing on week 21, just getting into more of the project-based learning and just some other curriculum I'm doing in my history classroom. So go ahead and jump right in. We're on here, Monday, January 14th. Should be able to see it. Yes, perfect. First thing, we reviewed the project calendar, so I'll kind of show you what that looks like. So if you click in here, it'll take you to this thing that says Final 10. You know, I find it's really a good idea to help students kind of understand where they're at in that research process by actually showing them. And so I have all these different weeks, and I focus on the week of, so the kids have to learn about their due dates, and those are all like right here where I'm highlighting. But I do talk to the students about what's coming up the next 2 to 3 weeks, and so we make sure that they write down in their calendars, like, all right, this is due. And I mostly do that because I just want them to understand like how long the research process is. That research does take a long time. It's best when we have a lot of reflection time to do it as well. And I also do it for students who want to get ahead. So if a student wants to do really well during competition, then they're more than welcome to get a week or 2 weeks ahead, or even do small things to help themselves do that. So I'm always encouraging getting ahead. I'm always encouraging staying motivated and doing the best that you can do or want to do. So they looked at that. This stuff will be in the video description if you're curious of what the students need to do or are doing. If you're a teacher watching these and you want to kind of see roughly what my pacing looks like, feel free. I have other teachers too that do different things. So this is all just in my classroom, how it works with me. So feel free to borrow what you need and disregard what you don't. So that's what we do here. We review every Monday. We also had a video lecture. The video lectures are pretty simple. I think I've shared them before, but really they're just questionnaires over videos. And so I find these YouTube videos about topics, and it's normally very straightforward history. It's just the fact, it's kind of like what you'd expect of a history textbook. I like showing a video just because it's a little bit different for kids. A lot of kids are very visual and audio, so it helps them see and hear those things. And they're always like 10 to 15 minutes, and we do it once a week, so it's not that big of a thing. And there's questions that they have to do. And I'm thinking too, it's on Google Forms, so it automatically grades itself and comes to me. And I tell the kids, if you miss more than 2, you're doing it again because it's a really easy assignment. So my expectations for success are pretty high. Most students don't mess with me. Most students just get it done because they know that, if I get it done once the right way, then I don't have to worry about it. So, just kind of building those good habits. So we did Lewis and Clark. We are talking about Western migration this week. Actually, we're doing that for the next, about 3 to 4 weeks. We've been talking about this idea of Americans moving west, building west, the immigrants that came to America during this time because there were so many opportunities to expand yourself. So we are talking a lot about that. We went over Lewis and Clark this last week. The week before that, we talked about the Louisiana Purchase. We also talked about the Texas Revolution, California gold mines. And we're going to start talking more about the negative sides now, too. I shouldn't say negative, but some of the other consequences. We talk about Chinese immigration and the racism that they fought, but we also talk about how those people were also welcomed by a lot because they were hardworking, and how the immigration debates and questions back then are very similar to the ones now. So we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to talk about Native Americans as well. So I'm going to see. I'm getting ahead of myself. Finishing this up on Monday. We did a thesis compression, so the students were expected to write their thesis in 2 to 3 sentences. So all they really need to do for that is look at all the answers and reflections they've done about their research question, and then just summarize everything basically into 3 sentences. It's hard, just because students don't, for the most part, have never done this before, and it's really hard to take all that stuff you've ever done and compress it into one concise little thing. So we started that. These are kind of where the thesis rough drafts are born. Right now, right now I'm making this video January 22nd, the students have created their theses for the most part, and we're getting into the editing process of them now too. Going on, primary source analysis work time. We're still doing primary source analysis for students who need it. On Tuesday, though, we kind of jumped more into the actual immigration question. We talked about the Trail of Tears. I read the students a passage from the book about it. I gave them primary sources to look, and they had to reflect on the relationship between Native Americans and the United States government. And, it's all under this umbrella of migration and immigration. I try to teach history in these big units, and I don't really, focus on time period too much. Obviously, we're in, the 1800s, but I'll bring stuff up from the present. I'll bring up stuff, from the 1900s. I try to link a lot of different things just to make as many connections as possible. And, again, we don't try to focus on the order of the facts. We try to really just look at the overall theme of it and just try to come up with some solutions, or at least some understanding of like how these things affect us today, why they matter, and if there's anything we can do about it. So we focus on that. We're doing migration and immigration. We did the Trail of Tears later. The students still got some time to do their thesis stuff right here. Going down on Wednesday. My time, okay. Doing 5 minutes, not too bad. Wednesday we did the primary source analysis, Texas independence. So again, we're talking more about consequences of moving west and some of the conflicts that were that came from that. You know, and we're skipping a lot of stuff, but again, we're always having that big umbrella and bringing it all together. So, you know, some people argue like, well, some students in your classroom aren't getting all the facts and details that history book has, and I would push back and argue like that's true, but they're also getting a lot of facts and details outside the book that I would argue are actually more important. So students are getting a lot of primary source analysis time in, you know, and this is a good point to say. In the video description, I link this stuff, so if you want to look at it, I link this schedule. Feel free to borrow and take what you want. If you're a teacher watching these and this helps you with your pacing or this just helps organize your classrooms, feel free to borrow and take. I absolutely don't mind that. So again, we talked about the Texas independence. We did a primary source analysis skill. I think it's a video. So yeah, so my students had to do notes on videos. After that, I gave them, you know, some time to work because a lot of students, you know, it's kind of pacing stuff. A lot of students didn't not have this stuff done, so they took the entire Wednesday to do a lot of my stuff. And so on Thursday, I gave them the entire day to work. Like they had the entire day to do designs and writing. They had a really big amount of stuff to do. I can kind of show you on my final 10 list. Let's see for those dates. Oh, here we are. January 18th. All these things are due for the different categories, and a lot of students didn't have them done. You know, I'm a week later right now than this schedule, so I still have some students who owe me things, and they have to come after school and show me that stuff. So there's that, and then finally, so Friday, project designs are due. Feel free to check those links if you want. We also did a lot of thesis development. Some of my kids got to this point, some didn't. But just taking that rough draft thesis and starting to edit it, basically, to make it stronger, make it better, so make it something that's more concise and just superior. So that's pretty much it. That's what we did for our week. It was really enjoyable to do. We're kind of full steam ahead right now when it comes to creating our research projects. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what the students do. So again, feel free to check out any of the stuff in the video description. You're more than welcome to grab and take whatever stuff you want. We have a Facebook too. If you would like to see more of those resources, sometimes, you know, I try to get a blog article out there once a week about history stuff, so feel free to read that. We have photographs and things that kind of show the style, and I try to post as many resources as possible. If you have a question or you'd like to see, if you have a specific question on what I do in classroom or how I do it, feel free to ask on the videos or just email me. I think the email's on the website, pretty sure. If not, Facebook definitely has it, so feel free to Facebook message me too. All right, that's it for me. Have a great day, and yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.